So I'm starting on the outside corner of our house, Cowboy Road and Gravelly Lake Drive. I'm going to walk the street. You can see the improvement area that the city helps me with Beauty Bark from time to time on the outside of our gate. And I am just going to walk our little area as we go around our section of street. This is our back gate areas to where I load and unload the car trailer. Going to start walking up Berninsky. This is on the outside of the Joneses property. You'll start seeing the Joneses house on the outside of the fence. This is the area where I've used my gate cleanings to fill in the potholes for the neighborhoods to get into the mailboxes. Jones will not allow me to walk across this area to access the mailboxes. I have to walk outside of the telephone pole or he comes running out of his house. Again, Jones needs to understand where the easement is. Somehow Jones got the mailboxes moved from the original location to here, which is actually an easement area.
You might mention that that fence is 30 feet out on the easement.
This is the beginning of our street here. There'll be two separations. Jones get upset from me trimming this stuff back, keeping it off the street, keeping the blind corners out. On his property, he's not a garage person and normally keeps everything outside. His fountain area, the rock walls, are actually built into the easement because they were there prior to anybody moving in. It's not an issue. This is the transition where we wanted to put in asphalt, and Jones became an exception to. The actual easement line is a couple of feet to the left past this point, but because he was blocking it, we weren't able to get any asphalt down there. This is the entrance to the neighbor's place. Because the neighbors chose not to help out with cost on the pavement, I just went to the nearest point to stop them. This point here has always been the point of contention. It was originally 10 feet out. You can see the property pins in the ground. Trimming of these trees, making sure they're above 14 feet so the trailer stays above it. The most recent improvements that I've been working the last couple of weeks or so is the Beauty Bark here. Special notice is that there's still fence posts in the ground. Show you a picture on the outside where he's taking whatever it is, doing this, and while I'm out here filming this, his neighbors want to make sure that anything I'm doing is actually on camera. They've been watching me the entire time. Nothing unusual for these folks. So as we come down the driveway, the asphalt section was originally there. This section of asphalt is what I added, that we had to hire the police to get in place. When we bought the place, all this aggregate was in place. Jones seems to feel that the outside of this stuff is his personal property, and that I am restricted to what I can and can't do. What I've been working on for the last few weeks is that this fence has been up for 5 years now. I'm just working on taking the stones out, putting them back in, a little bit easier to walk on, preparing the area so we can finish this area across here. Rather than having a temporary fence, we're going to put a steel fence in. The biggest point of contention is this area right here. This is the controller that Jones has been attempting to block and block and block. Directly down here, where their property pins are. We originally proved in our 2014 case that he'd removed property pins, buried them, and there was no recourse, so that's why we have all this kind of stuff. Jones's only choice of securing this thing is that he needs to build a fence from this point farther down the road to the original point that shows on the map. Our conflict on Tuesday was about him starting to install this stuff. The 2x4s were not there. That's what he has the nail pounder for. As we come into our driveway, we have a substantially different landscape than what Jones's does. I would actually have to bring my car trailer and truck all the way into here so Jones wouldn't get upset over this. Where the dispute continues is that on the difference in the backside of our fences here, we spend a lot of money trying to grow this, trim this, keep it there, is to have some kind of a block. Sound, noise, whatever it is. This is the backside of our deck. When we are sitting at this table trying to have some dinner, the decibels from his stereo will be above 25 decibels, as measured by an amp. We have a pretty cool backyard. The wife is heavily trained in and competes in agility, so she likes to take her dogs out after work and play in the backyard running agility courses. And these move from time to time. There's the car trailer from the inside. There's the little shed. There's the hedge looking down the back way. There's not a lot of area in between us and them. Thus the stereo. The one thing I want to point out specifically is that when we bought the house, it had a pretty cool stereo system. We have 4 speakers on the outside of the house, 2 here, 2 on the other end, that we have chosen to turn off and use a small speaker as to where not to disrupt anything. Hopefully this will help you understand what we have going on this side of the fence and what Jones prefers on his other side of the fence. When I'm outside on the deck, sometimes I will wear headphones trying to drown them out. Sometimes I will wear earphones. Sometimes I just like to sit in my chair during these 3 months, be left alone, but we are constantly, always outside, tinkering in our yard. fiddling with things. We have a pretty spectacular Christmas display that takes us a couple months. We have dogs that are always inside. Small little kennel that they stay in from time to time. We do the best we can, but with Jones escalating things, it's getting a bit rough. End of video.